Look at that shit, huh? And nobody even fucking sees it. Nobody even looks. Bunch of fucking idiots. It's unfucking believable, man. It really is. You know? Fucking people all around me all the time. Nobody ever looks. Nobody fucking sees it. It's all right in front of us everywhere we go. And nobody looks. No matter how bad things get, nobody ever fucking looks. They ignore how bad it gets and how bad it's getting and how it gets worse and worse every fucking second of every day. And just ignore what's right in front of us. Amazing. Fucking amazing.
I should have traded for There's like I traded variable to
Shit. Lose it. This is a fucking tree. talk a little bit about the 250-year mark from 1776 to 2025. Some of my research meaning a bunch of dudes on YouTube who are making videos about the Tartarian timeline. A couple months ago, you heard me start talking about it. In my videos, I started mentioning it, that I was going to look into it. I like it a lot, but I think it's another rabbit hole that I guess everyone's got to go down. How far down it you go, it takes you to bigger and better things. So it's worth going down the rabbit hole of the Tartarian timelines, Tartary, Tartar. Just look up those keywords. It seems like the dudes that are doing on YouTube right now that are doing a really good job at exposing it all, they seem like real people, but then we all seem like real people when all these things are coming out. And then I don't know when the mix comes in of the false people that come in, because they will be there too, just like they are for every other. I don't want to use the word conspiracy today. Every other truth, every other reality, every other uncovering of deception gets labeled a conspiracy. Conspiracy theory. The word conspiracy alone is damaging enough. The human runs away from that word, so it's not really a good word for me to be using when I'm talking about anything. But it has to be mentioned. So the research of that timeline brings me to what I'm really even more hot on, because I have the evidence for this other group. And this other group, I guess, has been around for about a year now, and we're just hearing about them now. And they're following Revelations 20 and realizing, number one, they seem like people that have been aware of all the lies. Even though they're not showing you what it is I'm showing you, they haven't found this yet, they don't see it yet. They will, because I'm got to make a series to them. I'm glad I didn't make it to the Tartarian guys, because now this is even better. And what it is gives answer to why the 250 years of lies, why the 250 years of deception, why has all history been fucked with, why is the clock that we use the wrong clock. I have some information for these people. What I'm sharing with all of you that no one seems to be getting is evidence for these people that are going to tell you about that 250 years since Satan was released from his prison, where the 1,000-year reign is what they call it, right? That came before this 250 years. There's 700 years missing, which makes perfect sense with everything that I'm showing all of you. You'll understand. I don't even know that it's only 700 years, but that's their best guess when they're putting shit together. I think there was plenty of gaps and other misses too. So 700 years only, I don't know. It might even be more than that. So it's called Satan's Little Season is one term that's used for it. Satan's Little Season that they talk about in Revelations 20. And the thing is that we've been living this since 1776 is when it began. They're showing you a lot of different evidence that really all adds up. Things that you probably were right in front of you, you never thought of. Things like, let me think of one. Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty Look at this shit. Look at it in the fucking camera. And there's people all around me too. None of them fucking see it. None of them look. Unbelievable. Thousands of people. Tens of thousands when I look off in the distance. There's probably 7,000 fucking cars in the parking lots that I'm overlooking right now. None of them see this. None of them will look. Statue of Liberty having a chain on the feet of the Statue of Liberty. Most people don't even realize that the Statue of Liberty is nothing that we're even told that it is. So the Statue of Liberty is not a female. It's not a statue of a woman, and that's what we call her. It's the whole Freemasonry, Illuminati bullshit that I've been complaining about myself since I started my channels. And there's no way around it. I mean, it's just fucking everywhere. It's all around us. And it's every country. It's not just the United States. It's every country. They're all in on it. The 7.8 billion zombie slaves are also in on it. We can ignore what's right here in my camera. You're all going to ignore this. You're all going to walk away from this every day and try to shut your mind down with other things so you don't have to admit that you see it. We all do it. Come back up. So Satan's little season makes perfect fucking sense, man. Makes perfect sense. So we're all in on this. Through the brainwashing that we've accepted, when we hear shit that makes no fucking sense and opposite of reality and we go along with it, and I see this happening thousands of times a day in my day, every fucking day with the smallest things. It could be just small purchases at a store. It could be gas in the tank. It could be working on something, a job that I'm doing. It could be any fucking where. I find them all the time. And on a bigger scale, you just turn on the television or the radio or whatever and you hear the propaganda and everything. It's made it for me. There's nothing I can go back to. Like, if I want to shut things down and not think about all the more serious things that are the reality and truth of things, right? That actually mean something, because everyone around me seems to be fine with being a zombie slave. So myself, I used to have ways where I could shut it down and go wander off. For example, things that'll make you feel nice, right? Like for me, it could be comfort things, right? Television shows I'm thinking of. Things that I watched over the years. It could be Barney Miller or MASH or something like that. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the propaganda, and no matter what it is you watch. So you try to watch things. All right, well, MASH has got, it's about war and it's all fake and propagandist and the whole, right? Then you go over to Barney Miller. Barney Miller's another one, cop show. Detectives, love that show, but I can't get my mind off all the fucking propaganda. Everything about that show is Freemason. It's all Freemasonry bullshit. Can't not see it anymore. They talk openly about, throughout the series, about weather being controlled by this little old man who comes in and the station gets arrested because in Central Park he had he started a fire and he was doing a rain dance around it because he learned it from the Indians, from the native Indian. Well, all this fucking story, if you look back, now that you know the Tartarian timelines, now that you know Satan's little season, now that you put it all together, you realize, oh my God, something that was so innocent of a show shows me everything. They're throwing in my face, number one, because he talks about aluminum, strontium, barium, lithium oxide, carbons that he puts in the fire, and that's really how he makes it rain. It's not really the dance itself. That's just ceremonial and blah, blah, blah. This is all shit that we pretended that the Indians were crazy. that they were nuts. They thought that by putting smoke up into the air, but that's not what they were doing. They were lighting the side of a fucking mountain on fire if they wanted rain. It wasn't about the rain dance. It was about the heavy metals and minerals that they put up into the atmosphere. So we took that over. We called it Mother Nature does that now. We say it's Mother Nature that flies all these jets over our heads and dumps the aluminum, strontium, barium, lithium oxide carbons, along with all these other heavy metals and minerals that they throw into the fucking sky to do whatever weather event they want to have, right? So no, we don't do that. We say it's Mother Nature now. We don't just talk openly. We don't. All these kids at this college I'm at, they're not learning the things that I'm fucking telling you about. They don't want to learn it. Their parents have brainwashed them, and their parents were brainwashed, and their grandparents were brainwashed. It was a severe fucking brainwashing. It's 250 years. But it also answers a lot of questions that I asked myself over these last 10 years especially, but throughout my life. How was it that my grandparents and my parents believed these bullshit stories that to me seem so obvious now that I'm awake, that were obvious lies? The lies were so stupid and dumb and they're ridiculous, and there's no way you would believe it. You would know that it's AI. You would know that it's fake from the minute you seen it. Even 60, 70, 100 years before AI, they were using this same technology, because right now AI's out there making all these fake videos and bullshit, right? Well, who the fuck do you think makes AI? Who do you think controls AI? AI is not controlling itself. AI is not the answer. AI is not the God. No. The true creator is all around us. We can see the evidence of him. You cannot ignore it. It's all right here in front of your fucking face for 250 years. So how was it that my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents, how did they all fucking ignore these obvious things? Such as, an example would be Pearl Harbor. How did they not understand that was a fucking setup? It was a sham. The whole thing that happened. Yes, planes really came. Planes really bombed. That's not the part I'm saying is the lie. I'm saying all the setup. How did they not know that it was all planned, set up bullshit? Just like other times, like 9 in Heaven, right? 9 in Heaven, that you can't even say the word because the fucking videographers will come after me for saying a date. A date on the calendar, on a fake fucking calendar, by the way, because the calendar is fake, the clock is fake, zeros are fake and intended to do a lot of harm to us as humans, but we use them anyway. The clock is all fucked up because it shouldn't have any zeros in it, so we go back to the 1 through 9 clock, but no one will do it. No one will listen. No one will pay attention. No one will just look for themselves, let alone fucking pay attention. Who cares what I'm saying? Look what I'm showing you. Look what you can all see all around you, but you won't go look. How did they fall for the moon landing? You know, even me myself. I mean, I'm not innocent in all this either, because I too, as I was growing up, believed in the heliocentric model. I believed that what they told us, and just like everybody else, when you heard in your books we briefly read that people at one time were insane and they thought that the earth was flat and that the water went off the sides of the earth and all this kind of shit, right? And there was a firmament over us, and you can look in the Bible and see some of this kind of crap that they told us was fantastical bullshit stories. But it turns out that those fantastical bullshit stories were purposely told to us so that they could get it into our heads that if you ever heard the term flat earth, you would immediately say conspiracy. You would immediately say conspiracy theory, you know, nut job, crazy people, that kind of thing. You were supposed to, because we were all taught in our schools growing up. At a very, very young age, we started being taught that if them words ever came out of your fucking mouth, then you were going to be laughed at and ridiculed and laughed out of society, right? So, but yet the heliocentric model is more bullshit than the flat earth fucking model, the geocentric model, let's call it, right? So we don't have to use the word flat earth. The geocentric model does have filled with lies. That's what I keep warning people about the Tartarian timelines. Yes, you're going to find some truth and reality in there, I have no doubt, but you got to watch out, man, because there's a lot of fucking lies in there. The fact that President Putin was the first one to start mentioning it on the older maps, that's the same shit they did with the Flat Earth movement. You know, some president comes out and introduces the idea to everybody. It's more propaganda. I'm not saying that the timeline didn't exist, because it sure seems like the timeline exists. I'm thinking that a lot of things around it are lies. Like maybe the name itself, the name called Tartarians, maybe that is the lie, and all that. But yet the timeline, the people, what everybody looked like, the fact that they were it seems like every mix, every race, it didn't matter what your color or your skin was. That wasn't even created until the late 1600s, where people started, because it was also put into place too to divide us, to keep us all divided, so that we were not living as one. And there might be reasons for that too, because, you know, the false creator / creator is the creator of the bio realm. So if the humans are going to copy his build, then you have to divide, because the false creator / creator's entire build was based on division. That's how he made the build. That's how he built everything. It was based on division. He stole the true creator's work and he used it. And I got some upcoming videos when I finally get behind the computer that I'm gonna show you guys some things that I found just looking at the screen when my videos fly by, that fall out of the category of feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast that you're always hearing me talk about. And one of them is very interesting, and I keep getting it every time it passes on the screen. Like, you know, YouTube will show you those videos to the right side of your screen type of thing. When I see my videos come up over there on the right, which is very rare, unless I'm like getting a lot of views or something, then maybe they'll start showing up. But anyways, I keep seeing it, and it's the same video that keeps popping up, but it's an older video. It's about 3-4 weeks old or something. All right, so I'm jumping around. So Satan's little season, it's fucking, I love it. I love it. The only thing I want to say that it does, well, a bunch of shit worries me. One of the things that worries me about it is that 2025 is supposed to be the final year. And now Satan, starting in 2026, Satan is supposed to go back into his hole. And then we're supposed to get 1,000 years, I believe, of enlightenment, where everybody's going to wake up all at the same time. I don't know about that. And I don't even know if that will work. I don't know if it won't work, because, and how many becauses there are, lots of them. Will it not work because we are all just too fucking evil at this point? We are all just such evil fucking scum. Sorry, that's just the way it is. So evil that we won't even admit reality to ourselves, knowing that our children and our family, our offspring, the people that will come after us, we're that selfish, evil motherfuckers that we don't care about them. Because most of the people that I talk to really don't give a fuck. They know they're leaving soon. They got 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30 years at best. And even the ones that have 30 years, the last 10, 15 years probably won't be leaving with their brain intact, right? They're going to have big senile. They're already fucking sick from all kinds of diseases. We all got diabetes, obesity, COVID bullshit, all the kinds of shit that they fuck with us on, kind of like they always have with their plagues and their potato famine and their rat fucking diseases and their witches and warlock bullshit stories. I mean, the lies have just been so fucking gross, man. So long. And my generation obviously didn't wake up. We're not going to wake up, because that's the general's, what's the word, consensus, of the people that are in my age bracket, even 10, 15 years younger than me to 15 years older, all in this age bracket. Nah, no one's going to wake up. Some of them not waking up because they feel that they have success, which I just don't see it. Others feel that they have success, so they think that what success actually is and what it means is not really what it is and what it means. So you can have success for your pocketbook, but not for your soul. Yes, you can sell your soul, but you're going to be fucking miserable. Movie stars, actors, actresses, big entrepreneurs, business entrepreneurs, that kind of thing. They're not going to go look at what I'm showing you for what? For money? Because of money? Because I know they can see it. I know everyone can see it. Hi, everybody that I know that makes fucking big bucks and thinks that what I'm telling them is crazy. No, you don't think it's crazy. You see it. You definitely see it. Well, you're going to tell yourself that Mike's fucking nuts because you don't want to have to face it, but it doesn't matter. You're still inside. You have to face it. The only ones that don't have to face it are those psychopaths. And you may not want to admit that you're a psychopath, but there's nothing wrong with being a psychopath. It just means that you don't have a mirror neuron. You don't have any empathy for yourself or others. So, that's not a big deal. Humans will try to make that a big deal, but, and there's reasons for it, and there's good reasons for it. It might even be, now that we're finding out about Satan's little season, it might be that the people born without a mirror neuron might be part of a different group. It may not be so much blood type, but rather included in that blood type would be the fact that they don't have a mirror neuron. In other words, it might be gene manipulation. You can maybe shut it off, right? Because not having a mirror neuron is not just about having empathy for seeing a dead animal or see a animal get hit by a car or something, so I don't have to think of nothing real bad, because really any talk of anything like this should make just the imagining it in your head will make your empathy neuron click. You're going to start tingling or whatever. It's not going to be a huge emotion because it's not really happening. It's just a story being told to you. But you can imagine, and you'll think back to some time when you've seen a dog or cat get hit by a car or something, and that was your empathy neuron that kicked in, that made you. And the only way to bypass that is with bullshit stories. You have to have a lot of bullshit stories built up in order to move on with your day. Because otherwise you're fucked up. Sometimes it depends on who you are. If you're aware of this, then you'll let yourself be and you'll say, you know what? I didn't even know the fucking dog. Cute little dog. I kind of feel responsible. I could have got out and probably had a chance to get him before he ran into traffic. Stupid little fucking dog. And then you start making up excuses. And sometimes it might take you a week or two to get over a dog that you didn't even know, seeing him get hit by a car and feeling that empathy for him, right? Now, people without a mirror neuron don't have to go through that shit. They just get back in their fucking car and they move on, never give it another thought. They've never, and should they have to? I can't say that they should have to. Those type of people make excellent soldiers. They make good people that require split decision, life or death situations. They're great for, right? They react really well in them situations because they don't care. The rest of us, if we're forced in self-defense to have to injure somebody else or worse, right? Our brains, I don't give a fuck who you are, even if you're a boxer or whatever, a doctor, right? Doctor cutting somebody open, whatever the situation is, or just in a street fight, a kid in a street fight, whatever. Your brain has these split-second decisions that it's making, and if after the fight's done, you're not going to be able to do it so much before or during, but after the fight's done, you can sit back and think about what it is I'm talking about. And what it is you will, see if I can get in better. You will notice that you have these little split-second decisions, that you have quick thoughts, maybe nanoseconds, but some nanoseconds clicks by right before you have to hit somebody. As a matter of fact, you're looking for an excuse to bypass your mirror neuron as these nanoseconds are passing by before a fight even happens, because you're saying to yourself, I want this fucking dude to move. I want him to flinch and at least attempt to hit me so that I can bypass my mirror neuron and kick the fuck out of him. Now, That's not self-defense to be thinking that, because kicking the fuck out of someone's a lot different than hitting him back or returning. I just want to see him flinch. I just want to see him move a little. That's all the excuse I need, because I'm not going to take the chance. I don't even know if the dude that I'm about to fight has a mirror neuron himself. So he may not have any give a fuck about how hard he hits me or what he pulls out of his pocket to hit me with or whatever, right? So all this has to go down in split nanoseconds before a fight even occurs. And if you're a doctor, you can relate. The same kind of thing happens before you cut someone open. All these thoughts are going through your mind. As a matter of fact, I would say even treating patients is the same way. Never mind cutting one open. You don't have to be a surgeon. Because that was going on during the Lion Mama Kona 19. During the Lion Mama Kona 19, if you guys all remember, that was my biggest bitch, was that how the medical industry could just ignore everything that was happening. How the fuck could a nurse walk into a... How could a nurse possibly walk in on something like that and watching doctors off people, off citizens, in the name of this bullshit story that everyone should have known was a bullshit story? So that was one of the big ones for our generation, for my generation, my kids' generations, and all of our grandparents who were still alive with us today. That was their time to fucking shine and stand up, and no one did. That proved that 75% of the human population, therefore 100% of the population, therefore, they're all zombie slaves. They're all going to go along with this shit no matter who it hurts, who it kills. They're going to go along with it. Psychologically, they went along with it. 50% of the population was fighting with the other 50%. Even though 75% went along with it, only 50% was fighting it. Those were the people that when you're walking on an outside trail, you're walking down or taking a bike ride with your kids to get out because it's under lockdown, and somebody rats you out on the trail for having your mask below your fucking nose and shit like that was happening. And you say, you got to be kidding me. These people fucking exist? Oh my God. And then it turns out it's our own family, because you'll be telling your family about it and they'll be like, oh yeah, I told a kid the same thing. I was down at the fucking store and this kid came in without a mask on and I said, get the fuck out of here. And you're thinking, are you fucking kidding me? These fucking zombie motherfuckers, man. Everybody, unbelievable that we went along with this shit, right? So doctors and nurses, it's even worse, because they all insisted that we do things this way, that we all kill ourselves voluntarily like this. It was fucking stupid. Wear a mask. Wait a minute, the mask is not keeping out the nanoparticles that are spreading this. Oh no, wear the fucking mask. Just wear it all the time. Stay 6 feet away from each other. Wait a minute, we can't share each other's energy anymore. It was our last contact. We can't even go. Okay, don't go to the hospital when your family's sick because you'll get the virus. Okay, so what? We got the virus a whole bunch of fucking times. Probably had it 1,000,000 times in my life. Nope, can't do it. New rule, new law. Can't go see them. Well, wait a minute, they're dying. I'm not going to see them before they die. Nope, can't do it. Can't do that. Can't go. Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck is wrong with these people, right? So then you have to think about okay, then we got a solution now. We got something that's gonna get rid of it. Well, what is it? What's in it? We can't tell you. Can't tell you for 28 years. You can't tell us for 28 years. Well, is it even a vaccine? No, not necessarily, but we're gonna call it that. Wait a minute, what this just makes no fucking sense, and we all gonna take it. Oh, not only are we all gonna take it, but for most people it's gonna be mandatory, because anybody that works for the government, it's gonna be mandatory. Anybody that works in the hospital industry, medical industry, not just hospitals, but anybody in the medical, that's everybody, man. So anybody affiliated with any other human has got to fucking take the shot. And all the doctors and nurses all said, okay. They all said, okay. And then they went into these rooms where our family were all dying. And then they're looking at this situation and watching the doctor put a respirator onto a human for more than 12 minutes at a time, knowing that they've known for many, many years that's not a good idea, doc. The lungs are going to stop working. The lungs are a muscle. Do we have to go back to medical school to learn this? Or can we learn this shit from a YouTuber? Can we just find a YouTuber who knows his shit and let him tell us? Well, we did. We all did. Because even the YouTubers that were doctors and nurses that were coming out about it were all shut down. Some of them might have been scammers. Some of them might have been Freemasony fucking planned opposition type shit, right? Who knows? Point being, that was to prove to the zombie slaves that we'll shut you the fuck down and shut you the fuck up whenever we want. And we said, okay, masters. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's what we did. So you can't go claiming that medical industry can no longer go claiming. They never could really anyways, with all the other sicknesses and shit that we are all dying of. They call it living with, but really it's dying of. We all have our choice. We can die of cancer, diabetes, AIDS, fucking you name it. All kinds of bad stuff. To have a miserable, shitty, fucking unhealthy life. So the doctors and nurses all got together. No one ever fucking had common sense. I mean, there was a lot of them that did quit. But anybody that couldn't afford it, they thought they couldn't afford it. That's not really a good reasoning. You have to bypass your mirror neuron in order to keep a job like that. You have to keep telling yourself, "Oh, I'm a nurse. I'm a doctor. I'm on the good side of things. I'm good because I save people and I help people." No, you don't. Never did. Never did. That was all a bullshit story. Oh, then you can maybe turn it into, if you don't have a mirror neuron, then you might be able to say to yourself, a lot easier than the average person with a mirror neuron. Those people without, it's easy for them to say, hey, I'm making $300,000, I'm making $600,000 a year, whatever, depending on their nursing and their degrees and all that shit, right, of nursing. So they can say that. They can say that honestly, and they won't feel anything from it. But for somebody like us, who does have a mirror neuron, we cannot do that. You can try it, and you can make the words come out of your mouth, I have no doubt. But deep down, you have a mirror neuron. So you have to bypass it. You have to find reasons to believe your own lies. You have to. There's no choice about it for us. And that's what we've always been doing. I've been telling people this for years since I found the mirror neuron manipulator. I found the fucking mirror neuron manipulator before I even found the true creator. 2-3 years before, I think it was, that I found that. Because it was my answer to how could we lie to ourselves without worrying about penalties, without worrying about any consequence all the time. And the answer is lies. That's how we do lie to ourselves. Let me put it this way. This is what I used to say to the camera all the time. The only way that humans can take more from life than what we need is we need to have a mirror neuron manipulator. It's in the neurological system. It's probably another one of these things that's turned off and on, just like the mirror neuron is turned off and on with genes. So that's what I was saying earlier about the genes of somebody who we call a psychopath. It might just be in the genes, but it's more than being in the blood. It's in the gene. A lot of people that make that, they try to use that blood scenario. And maybe they're onto something. I guess I never really looked into it because I'm against anything that goes with space alien theories, because I know that the heliocentric model is bullshit. So space aliens is bullshit, which is one of the reasons why the video that I'm going to bring you guys to, some of the images that I'm seeing in it on the cover, it's on the cover of the video. I'll talk more about it when I get to it. But anyways, it's out of the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. I think so. So I'm going to go look at it further, deeper. I'm going to pull the video up and I'll remaster that video because I think it'd be interesting to see some of this. Because all the things that I'm showing you guys about the feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast over and over from the veil to the ground, right? Everything that I'm showing you guys with this, this all relates to Satan's little season. It all relates to it. What those guys are talking about, the evidence that they want to know, even though it's going to sound outlandish to the majority of anybody that's listening or watching my videos. But to these people they're right there. They know that they're right, but they don't even know why they're right. Let's put it that way, right? They're mostly correct about almost everything that is coming out of their mouth. They're not afraid of, it seems like they've already been down a lot of rabbit holes, right? So they're ready for a lot of shit that the average person, the average zombie slave is not ready for. The average zombie slave is not ready to hear stories about anything, let alone all the hijinks and the lies that we've all been up to all of these years. They want to sit comfortably watching their television shows that I was talking about earlier and still feel that comfort zone that'll take them away from any truth or reality that may be lurking around them. For example, what I'm showing you now in the clouds or the trees. They want to go behind me and go into the school, because behind me I'm at the college today. So they want to go behind me, enter the school, and learn all the lies. They don't want to go look at the clouds that are right above their fucking heads, in the trees or in the moon, or see things that would offer them truth and reality. They don't want that. This is a purposeful rejection of truth and reality by the zombie slaves. That's what this is. That's what's been going on for 250 years. So who were the Tartarians, and who are the Tartarians today? A couple months ago when I got turned on to the Tartarian timelines, one of the things that I was asking was one of my big questions about the Tartarian timelines. I had a lot of them. Were the Tartarians shipped around? Because there's a lot of this things that was going around in the 1600s to 1700s that was got even bigger in the 1800s. You got to go listen to what they're telling you about the Tartarian timelines, because there's too much for me to get into now, especially outside like this with cars driving by and shit like that, and people keep walking by, and then I got to stop what I'm talking about, and then I get distracted. The orphanages, right? They built these big palaces and castles for these fucking orphanages, and turned them into factories later and churches later and all this kind of stuff. The shit was already here. We humans in this generation did not build them like we claimed. We claimed that we built them all. Well, the Tartarian timelines and the Tartarian stories all prove that wrong. It also proves false that when we came to the Americas, it was only Native Indians that were already here. No, there weren't. There were all different colored people that were already here. But we put on these fake wars that we put on. One of them with the Native Indians, other fake wars with Britain, other fake wars with civil wars, fighting within the North and the South. These were all fake. This was all bullshit that we all did, but just like all the other wars as well, same thing. They just continued them like that. On and on and on they go with their fucking lies, and we eat it up. We pretend that we believe them, because there's no way we believe such bullshit. There's just no fucking way we believe such nonsense that comes out of their fucking mouth. And that goes all the way to today. All these years, everything has been a lie. Everything. Everything you've ever heard, learned, thought, taught, programmed, as I always say, has been a lie. So what worries me at this point, we're in 2025, going into 2026. Well, the timelines have been fucked up. Our timeline, again, by 700 years, according to Satan's little season story, right? This story that they're pulling out of the Bible. I also don't trust anything from the Bible because it was written by humans. So keeping that in mind. So that's why when I say I'm all for it, because it makes sense with the 250-year timeline, right? So in other words, we're living under Satan's timeline now, and it's almost over. And then we're supposed to go into 1,000 years of enlightenment. But there's these several questions. One of them being is, well, what happens when the 7.8 billion zombie slaves, and I say only those 7.8 billion zombie slaves is what I mean to say, because there were much more than that before. There were way more than this before and other times in history, and they were much more advanced than we are now because we deny ourselves the technology. We as humans pretend to be so stupid that we think Mother Nature controls weather. We think that God controls our lives. We think that Satan controls our lives. These entities have been taken over by humans who follow these entities. They copied the true creator. No, actually, they've copied the false creator / creator, but the false creator / creator copied the true creator's work, stole the true creator's work, and built a biosystem. Then the humans come along, steal the false creator / creator's work, and build another system within it that is garbage. All of the technology we're using today that we admit to using is garbage. The good technology that we could be using is all around us being used and played on us. But we have to know this. I've been talking to you about the chemtrails that are up at the clouds, at cloud level, right? Where I've been talking about the trails for years, for almost 30 fucking years, and nobody fucking looks. Nobody wants to know about it. The few thousand people on this earth that are even talking about it, and it's only a few thousand out of 7.8 billion, so it really ain't much. But those fucking few people that are talking about it, a lot of them are shills. They purposely make things sound crazier than they actually are. They won't come up with positive evidence that we don't really even need as zombie slaves because we have eyes to see. So we, the 7.8 billion zombie slaves, don't even have to listen to the 3,000 that are pretending to tell you about the chemtrails. We can just look up and see them. We can look with our eyes and see them. When you see 10,000 trails a day for the last 30 fucking years of your lives being dumped on your head and you could ignore it, you know how fucking zombied out you are to be able to do that? Come on, man. Think about it. Think about it. Since Reagan started trailing our heads. Before Reagan, we used to have the Industrial Revolution and we used to put the heavy metals and minerals up that way. Okay, I can see that generation might not have been smart enough to fucking realize what was happening. But the Jets got no, this is called perfection for them. They're perfecting the true creator and the false creator / creator's inventions. That's what they're doing. They think that they're perfecting them. They're really not. Well, they're perfecting them for human use and human consumption, yes. Because that's what they did with, that's what they fucking did with everything. They just do that with everything. It's fucking nuts, man. I think the dude left his lights on. So Satan's little season. We all get to do evil shit under false religions. I always wondered that. I always thought about it. Now, with Satan's little season, this makes perfect fucking sense. How could all these religions, the most evil fucking groups of people, do the most disgusting shit, and then all their little followers, the 7.8 billion zombie slaves following all these different lion-ass religions, how could they, right? How could they do that? Examples, I can give you a fucking zillion of them, man. I could waste 2-3 hours talking about examples of how the slaves do it and how their slave masters, slave handlers, I guess we'd have to call them, right? The priests and the nuns and the all the people that work for the churches and stuff like that, ministers and you name it. I mean, what a fucking scam, man. What a scam. All part of it. None of it making no sense all this time, you know. That's your fucking 10 commandments. I mean, come on, man. And then you're allowed to break them as long as you say you're sorry for it on fucking Sunday and do some Hail Marys, put some money in the basket, and all is forgiven, because that's, you know, this is fucking ridiculous. Even the best that we have of any of them, and even they are, it's not good, because even they have not carried over truth and reality for thousands of years, since we've been enslaved for the last 250 years. So it's not like they were around during the Tartarian timelines and they carried those timelines over. They're not sharing with us that technology either, which is the Amish. The Amish are the only ones that at least live a clean, healthy life as much as they possibly can. And righteous, if you want to call it that, or whatever. But you know, again, they wrote humans wrote that book, right? All the books. They're all written with human language. Anything that rolls off the human tongue, anything that drips off the human's pen, anything created or invented or spoken of by a human is a fucking lie, man. It's a lie. I don't give a fuck. Even me, right now, don't believe nothing I'm telling you. Just go look. Go look. The evidence, the true creator will show it to you. You will see the true creator's work. You will see the false creator/creator's work. You'll see it in me. You'll hear it in my tongue, because that is the false creator/creator's work, the bio realm. You'll see the true creator's work in the trees, the moon, the human skin, the lawn, the grass. I could put a camera down on the lawn right now. But the lawn right now has been cut by humans and has human influence, where the clouds have also been touched by humans and have human influence. But you don't know the difference. All of you watching will think that this is natural. You'll call these clouds still, even after 30 years of being shown that these clouds are trails that are dumped out in the sky by jets. Some countries are still putting them up in the air by chimney and by stack, but either way, same fucking thing. And nobody will look. I mean, it's a really good, man. It's really good. I got a yellow filter on. Let's see. Yeah, this is unbelievable. It's unfucking believable. Every hurricane that happens, every tornado that happens, every drought that one place is getting over another, all of it. I look up in the fucking sky and I say, where the fuck are these 7.8 billion zombie slaves? Where are they? So the answer very simply is Satan's little season. Now I have an answer for a bigger picture of the answers that I already had. it explains more. It gives everybody more of an excuse that I was not offering anybody before. So they've been telling us that we're now living in an enlightened time when it's really the opposite. They're telling us that, we're living in a time and Jesus is going to come back someday and scorch the earth and all this kind of stuff, right? It's a second coming, when really that second coming is already done. And we've been living in a paradise of lies and deceit, Satan's little season, for 250 years. Now, if they lied about the math, which they did, in other words, there's no zeros. Zeros shouldn't even be in our math. And all these people that are on to the whole scam of Satan's little season, they're still using zeros in their math. They're putting together the 250-year timeline. They're taking out 700 years that also included zeros in it. So really, for us to call this the 250-year timeline is also not true. So there's several reasons for me to question all this, knowing what I know, and these people that are out there doing all this investigation and research, they should know too. They should know and understand. I have to make a series to them. Because if everybody's planning on 1,000 years of enlightenment starting in 2026, and if that was the actual true plan and it got carried over to human writing, in other words, the Bibles, so if it got carried over onto that, parts and pieces of truth or whatever that got carried over, and that part of the story stayed in but just twisted, or very vague, so that nobody would know what the hell it meant. They could just put their own meaning on it. If that's what happened, then we're still on the wrong timeline, because we did not take zeros out of our math. And even the number 250 has zeros in it. So that also has to be changed. There is no such thing as 250. There's no such thing as 700. They said 700 years were removed from the number, from the math, from the timeline. So all these things I know, and now anybody listening knows that these are all bullshit stories. So they're on to some truth, but they're not going to find it. They're not going to get it for the reason why one of the reasons is I'm telling you, that I'm explaining to you now. Because the math is off. The dates are wrong. We use zeros now. Should not be using zeros in our math. Should not be using zeros on our clock. Shouldn't even be using circles as a symbol. None of it. It's not based on reality. It's based on human concepts. And human concepts are not reality. They're just human concepts based on falsities. 250 years of it, for sure. No, what's funny too is all the lies, like Trump comes out after shutting everyone off stamps, has his ballroom dance and all the shit. It's all planned, man. It's all planned to see how far you can push the fucking slaves. How dumb are the slaves? Are they ready for the next event? Even if they're not, they're going to get it anyway, but they just want to know. And it's not like the events are all happening now. They've always happened. We've all just been in denial of it. The mortgage rates go up. The mortgage goes up because the taxes go up. Everybody makes a big deal out of it, and which they should, and says, "Oh my God, the taxes!" Right? And this is every country. It ain't just the United States. Everybody's doing this. How do you think Argentina went down in the first place? How do you think Argentina went broke in the first place? They had money they were doing pretty well off for themselves for a long time. They're all part of it. Every country, they're all involved. It's just the 7.8 billion zombie slaves that live in every country pretend that they don't realize it, they don't know. It's unbelievable. Anyway, Trump comes out and gaslights everybody every fucking day. Every day. But yesterday it was about the food stamp shit and everything, right? And the EBT and everything like that. And people pick sides, and they get on all sides rather than look at the obvious. They'll just go with whatever they're told by their favorite YouTuber or their favorite news guy or whatever, whoever's talking to them at any given time. Unfucking real. Unfucking real. You guys, unbelievable, man. Wake the fuck up, everybody, and wake up your families, wake up your friends, wake up everybody you fucking know, which you should have done 250 years ago. What the fuck was I talking about now? Oh, Trump. So the douchebag comes out and just keeping everybody divided. I mean, so stupid. You can look at the fucking math, right? But nobody wants to think about the fact that why do you have 42 million people even needing help with food in the first place? It's supposed to be the richest country in the world. But all right, whatever. We'll skip that. We'll pretend that we don't know that. Then we go on to the numbers. Well, you got 20 million of the 42 million are children. So we know that we want them fed, right? I mean, that should be a no-brainer. Even if their parents are milking off their food benefits and eating some of their food, let them. They're raising the kids for what, on their own or not. Who the fuck cares? I've heard about 20 times in the last couple of weeks, a lot of people that I live around me and all know me. So any of them watching my channel, you're going to know and understand some of what I'm about to say. They believe the most ridiculous fucking bullshit. I keep hearing people say, all right, so one person said to me about a week ago, I always wait because I know their mindsets. I know everybody's mindset. So I wait for them to say it, and then I question them nicely, and then I make them think, I hope I make them think about what the fuck they're talking about. Sure don't seem it, but... Okay, so I know a fireman that him and his wife both work, and this is the story that I was being told. I know a fireman in Chicopee, and him and his wife both work. He's got a full-time job plus the fireman's job, plus the wife works full-time, and they were collecting like $1,300 a month in stamps, EBT, food stamp shit, right? And I heard it. It went in my ears. I shrimeled it around a little while he was talking, and then I said, no, that doesn't make any fucking sense, man. I said, because first of all, he's working for a government agency, which is a fire department, so he's government related somehow. So he would not get away with doing something like that in the first place. But let's say he found a loophole or something like that. It still doesn't make sense. So what does make sense and what I would seem as reasonable would be that, look at this shit. Was that he might have 5, 6 kids, 7 kids, something like that. And that would explain, because with the salaries of 2 full-time jobs and a part-time job is not enough. It's not enough to survive. Nobody can on that. If you have 5 kids, 7 kids, or whatever. So isn't that forgiving? Because you're not really, oh, fuck that. He says, fuck that. If he's got that many kids, that's his own fault, and this kind of thing. And I'm like, well, number one, we're supposed to be wanting everybody to have children, supposedly, because we're worried about the the birth rate and everything like that. So it's somebody else's issue, you know? And this is coming from, by the way, this is coming from someone who decided that they never wanted to have kids. He's retired now. He ain't gonna ever have kids. So he already decided he don't want children for whatever reason. Maybe he can't. I don't know. But he had no thought process about anybody else's, you know, with kids. There's 20 million people that are children out of those 42 million, right? Those 42 million that all lost their benefits, their EBT cards and stuff like that. All right, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go through the whole 42 million real quick because it's really easy and it doesn't make any sense. Only if you do not have a mirror neuron or if you possess a mirror neuron manipulator. It's the only way. You got to have a lot of bullshit stories built up to tell me why we should be starving out our own fucking people. I don't even, you know, it's fucking ridiculous, man. All right, so then he says, you know, that's his problem if he had 5 kids or 7 kids. And that's not our fault, taxpayers' fault. And I was like, yeah, you know, I gave him the first part of the story. And then I said, and then here's another one. I said, I knew a kid named Timmy when we were growing up who grew up very poor. I went to his house when we were kids, and I couldn't believe how good of a person he was. He was a nice kid. He was definitely a zombie slave, just like the rest of us. He definitely went along with society's rules, and but he was a good person. So later in life, I seen him in my mid-20s. He bought a house next door to my grandmother. And I hadn't seen him in years. And in my late 20s, or whatever I was, mid-20s, late 20s, he bought this house and I started seeing him. Hey, Timmy, how you doing? And we were good friends when we were younger, pretty good friends. You know, we hung out. But again, he was a good kid. I was not. So we didn't have much in common. You know, he wanted to play sports. I wanted to get drunk and get high. He wanted to, you know, hang out with his sports friends and do sport things and jock shit. And I wasn't into it. I mean, I would do it once in a while, but it wasn't my favorite thing to do. I wanted to get laid and other stuff, you know, be a jerk. So anyways, I mentioned this to my buddy when we were talking, and I said, and Timmy, I was impressed by him because all those years later when I seen him, here he was in his 20s, and he had 3 kids of his own. He just bought a house in a pretty decent neighborhood. It was Holyoke, but who cares? Still a nice house. And it was a 2-family house, so he had rent in the upstairs apartment, and then he had the downstairs apartment, and the idea was as his kids grew up, they would have the space upstairs. He could have the upstairs unit to move the kids into. Great. So he had 3 of his own, 2 of his sisters. He had 7 kids altogether. That's what made me think of the number 5 to 7 when I was talking to my other friend the other day. I said, you know, so this fireman, how do we know fireman didn't have 5 to 7 kids? Oh, even if he did, that's his problem. Yeah, all right, I guess so. But here, Timmy, my buddy Timmy from school, I reminded him of the story. And I said, Timmy's sister passed away, got in a car accident. So he took 3 of her kids or 2 of her kids. Yeah, 2 of her kids. And then one of his other family members ended up having a run with some drug problems and lost their kids. So he took their kids as well. So he had 7 kids total. Now, anybody seeing him and not knowing the story, I thought he had 7 kids altogether when I saw him. And then my grandmother told me, oh, no, 2 of those are his sister's kids. He's a nice boy and all that. And I said, I know, Grandma. I knew him when we were younger. As a matter of fact, I ran away with him when we were very young, like 12, 13 years old. I ran away with him. He was living down the river, and I loved it because I had a warm home and a warm bed to go to, and I was a spoiled fuck as far as being loved at my house and being taken care of and everything. I was spoiled in that way, I guess, because he definitely wasn't. His home life sucked dick. So he was living down the river because he had to. And when I saw what he was doing, I was jealous because I wanted that life, freedom, total freedom. I didn't have no curfew. I could do what I wanted. Now, of course, I know better. I'm older and I know much better now. But at the time, pretty fucking funny how things change. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Yeah, so kind of funny how, looking back on it, remember going to his house and his bureaus were cardboard boxes and milk crates, those old red and blue milk crates. That was his dressers. He had a very thin mattress on the floor. And the most memorable thing was that, and his mother, I don't think was a drunk or anything. I think the father left because the father was a bad drinker or something. But the mom was just poor and depressed, I believe. I don't think there was any drug issues or anything like that at his house, but it was disgusting. Um, I don't even know about disgusting. I would say the disgusting part about it was the roaches. Um, as far as cleanliness goes, I don't really think it was actually that bad from what I remember either. I never thought about that. Poor. Here's the thing that happened with Timmy. We walked in the room, and when he turned the lights on in his room, he kind of put his arm up to hold me back, but I had already seen it. I already seen it before we walked in. And so he held his arm up and he waited a minute and stuff, but I already seen it. Thousands and thousands of cockroaches all ran behind the posters in his room. So, I mean, a lot of them. The whole fucking wall was like black. And then when he turned the light on, you could see, when I looked through the doorway, I could see all the roaches running behind. He had a bunch of, music posters and stuff like that in his room. And that was it. No furniture, no anything else I don't remember in the house or nothing. And this kid grew up to be a nice fucking kid. He was a good guy. And he worked hard all his life. He did all the things that the fucking slave masters told you had to do in order to have a good life and be successful. And I'm assuming, as good of a guy he was, his family, his sister who fell into a car accident, and his other family member who wound up on drugs, they probably were the same nice people that he was. So, in other words, I can't see where anyone could ever say, oh, he deserved it, or like that lady on YouTube was saying that these people that are in that situation deserve it. Come on, man. I mean, get the fucking real. And what he deserves to be fucking living like this, man. It's fucking ridiculous. And here we are now today, jailing people who are homeless. They're being thrown into concentration camps. We're throwing anybody with the wrong color skin, if they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. We got the Gestapo out. It's just a continuation of Napoleon, this is something that they talk about a lot in Satan's Little Timeline, which I really like hearing that as well, that people are out there seeing it. They're seeing how the timelines were fucked, and they brought in all these dictators all over the earth, all these dictators, and every time we've had a reset, these same fucking assholes are in charge every time we reset. And that's what I'm worried about happening again. It's a fake reset. 2026 is supposed to be the reset, and I think it's a fake reset. I really do. Because I think that the real reset is going to be, I'd have to figure out the math. I'd have to do the math. But I don't believe that this is, it can't be. It can't be because of the zeros. Like I said, the zeros alone make it impossible for this to be 2025, be 250 years from the time unless they're going off of unless that part of it's fake too. Unless I'm 100% correct about the fact that humans are controlling Satan, because Satan is only an entity, an idea. So humans that are here and been here for thousands of years keep handing over this bullshit stories over and over. And one of the last bullshit stories that we had was the Tartarian timelines, which was also filled with fucking lies, the same way that this one is. So for us to claim that it was the Enlightenment and that was the reign, what do they call it? The millennial reign. So during the millennial reign, if that was the case, if that was really the story behind it. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Zombies all around. Zombies all around me. No one sees it. Unfucking believable. So if the millennial reign had already happened and it went on for 1,000 years, and then we released Satan from his hole for 250 years, and this is only, and the only one of the reasons why I kind of like this too is because none of the mainstreamers are touching it. Nobody mainstream is touching any of this. They are toeing around the Tartarian stuff now. But even the fake mainstream YouTubers, whatever, they're not even touching it. And whenever they don't touch something, I like looking at that. You know, you're not going to hear Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson or any of those guys, conspiracy guys on those side, or the other liberal douchebag side either. You're not going to see them talking about any of that, other than to make a joke out of it. You know, that when they're ready and they have enough jokes lined up, and too many people are looking into the Satan's little timeline here, Satan's little season, and that gets Googled enough times, then maybe they'll be ready with their bullshit story. So we have to be ready for that too. That's why I'm showing you guys what I'm showing you. It's all around us. The reality and truth of things is all around us. We can see it with our own eyes. We don't need any more bullshit stories flying off the human tongue. We can talk directly to the false creator/creator, not using the human tongue. You're gonna have a whole new language that you already know, that you're gonna now become familiar with again. You already know it. It's within all of us, this other language that I keep talking to you about. But it's not the human tongue. It's not human language. It's gonna be, I describe it as a knowing. You will see things, you will know them. So if you hear words talking to you in your head, don't believe the words. Don't believe the words. The words are all gonna be lies. That's what I do. That's the way I figure things out. If I'm telling it to myself using the words that I'm speaking to you now, then I don't buy it. I have to keep looking. And the more I look, the more I see. The more reality I'm looking at. There's a better show going on behind me in the cloud level, but I'm going to stay here because I got the sun over here and the light. But really the better show is behind me. And what happens is over here in the light, where the sun is coming through, you have more gaps between the clouds. So sometimes it's easier for you guys to pick stuff out that way. Anybody else new to my channel might find it easier, rather than when I go turn around in a minute. If I do, I hate to miss it all because it's really good. But it's very collaged. It's very collaged. So therefore, that's why I usually prefer to do like over here, because the collage is much less. I guess I'll just stay here. See all the millions and millions of faces in there? Feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast. Faces only. See them all in there? Every which way I aim the camera, don't matter. There is no up, down, left, right, backward, forward, in or out in the true creator's work. Did you notice that? You ever notice that? You ever notice that it's all collaged? The imagery is all collaged, no matter if I'm named at the clouds, the trees, the moon, the human skin. No matter where I aim the camera, it's always the same. No matter where my eyes look, it's always the same. Feline, canine, rodent, ape, human, and beast, over and over from the veil to the ground. You ever notice that? I have. You ever notice that every angle and distance of perspective that I turn my camera like this, I'm getting you other images that you would not have seen when my camera was over here like this? But every little angle and distance of perspective shows you all the different millions upon millions of faces that are in here in all directions. And then over here, it was really fucking good no matter where I go, but it's a little darker over here. The imagery is banging. I could just dump the camera on the fucking ground right here, or I could put it either there, over here too, same thing. The imagery is banging no matter where I go. But I got the sunlight over here working for me, so I'm gonna take advantage of it still and let it keep ripping. I'm gonna maybe change the angle on this camera up here to go this way. Let's see. And which way do I want to go? I'll come down and in. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's fucking nice. I mean, come on, man. So Satan's little season. I asked myself over the years, and I'm sure many other of you have done the same, how was it that we allowed the Catholic Church mostly, but pretty much the priesthood everywhere, because it doesn't matter, to do all the bad things that they did to children? The nuns growing up were doing a lot of bad shit to children. My Uncle Eddie was a victim of a nun. I think several of them. And my Uncle Stevie was also a victim of a nun. I think my father might have been too. He just less likely to talk about it. So what do we say to that? Better a nun than a priest? At least it was a female and rather than a male to be abused by, seeing that these were little boys. It's fucking stupid. And then, as usual, a mirror is held up to our face. They held a mirror up to our face in this country. They do it all the time. And just like they're doing it now with Trump, it's like they did it with Biden. They hold these mirrors up. And back during the 80s into the 90s, the mirror was held up to the Catholic Church in particular. 45,000 victims or some shit like that were counted up over a 30, 40 year period. So many of them came out about it, and the mirror was held up to the rest of us who went along with this nonsense, and we didn't do a fucking thing about it. Some did drop out of the Catholic Church and went on to be lied to by other congregations. They didn't want to be lied to by the Catholic congregation anymore, so they went to other religions to be lied to. That's what they did. And so, looking at that and seeing that mirror being held up at us, and we all went along with it. I remember as I was growing up watching all of that happen and coming out and looking around at all the people I knew that were going to church all the time. I mean, the Catholic church in the town that I grew up in, we used to go to that fucking church. It was the altar boys in that same church that were getting hurt by the congregation, or not the congregation, but the priests and the people who worked there. So the altar boys and stuff like that. And I remember when the stories were all coming out, my father and my uncles talking about when they were altar boys and stuff like that, and they had even seen things. It doesn't sound like any of them experienced any harm from any of the priests or any male, but others had, and it seemed to me like they kind of knew in the back of their mind or whatever. It was just something that they just kept their mouth shut about, didn't talk about openly, but they had a feeling, I guess, right? So you don't follow your instincts and you just keep your mouth shut back then, no matter what the story was, and you didn't talk about it with each other because you could get somebody in trouble. You don't want to get the priest in trouble. So now, knowing that we're living in Satan's little season, that makes perfect sense too, along with all the other lies. It makes it all more understandable to me. How is it that 7.8 billion zombie slaves go along with all these lies? That's always fascinated me. A lot of people, when I first started waking up, I was angry at everybody, because at first I was angry at them, and that was my first instinct, because I realized I'm not the best liar ever, because all my life I always thought I was the liar, and I figured I was the one lying to everybody, and they're all they're not smart enough to lie, so they're all telling the truth about everything, and I'm the good liar. Then, about 20 some odd years ago, it started flipping, and I started realizing, oh my God, the reason they never call me out on my lies is because they're all fucking liars too. And then that's kind of hard to deal with, because these are your family, your friends, people who raised you, teachers, preachers, whatever, everybody that raised you, right? So it's kind of hard to realize and come to terms with that. And then you realize, because that was my first step in my awakening, is realizing, because you start confronting them with all their bullshit stories as you're slowly waking up in the beginning. Like, this doesn't make sense, and that doesn't make sense. And you always told me to go along with this and that and this and that, and none of it makes any fucking sense. But you didn't really have any evidence for it. I'm going back 25, 30 years ago. And the trails come back into the picture again, because here we have 7.8 billion zombie slaves not admitting that they're being dumb-sacked on a daily basis by jets. They'll make up all kinds of excuses with their mirror neuron manipulator. It lets them do that, so they don't have to face the consequences. They'll have to face the consequences, but they don't have to realize them. I don't know. It's somewhere deep in your soul. If you have a mirror neuron deep in your soul, you know these things that I'm saying are true. So when you ignore them and you fucking keep going on like you're doing, then and then to claim ourselves saints because we go along with any of these false religions, they're all false religions, because look at all the harm that they do. I mean, they do a lot of fucking harm to us, and we just keep letting it go, and we keep letting it roll on, calling them the righteous ones and giving them our energy and our money, and money is energy, I guess. So it's all fucking backwards, fucked up world, upside down shit. Everything always is. A camera's unbelievable. If you people can't see what I'm showing you right now, there's no fucking way you're going to tell me you don't see what I'm showing you right now. Why does my channel not have millions of people view it? Why is YouTube not shutting down my channel? Because there's so many people jumping on there trying to see what it is I'm showing you. Why is that not happening? That makes no fucking sense at all. A different meme every goddamn day about the economy, about Trump, about this, about that. All the lies and all the bullshit stories all get fucking put right to the top. But my channel still gets fucking 2-3 views on videos that I'm putting up. It makes no fucking sense. If you're not ready for it, there are people out there who are ready for it. They will help us on the journey to make this go forward. But if no one's going to push it forward and no one's going to go look for themselves, then you should push it forward to someone who will look. Because you should be able to know instinctually, even if you're refusing reality and you're refusing the truth, you are only doing that on the surface. You can see what it is I'm showing you. It's going to be deep down in you. You're not going to want to bring it to the surface and talk about it openly. You're not going to want to grab a camera and go outside. I wish you would, but you're not going to digitally collect the EMNC and share this with others. You're going to keep playing the fucking game. You think that the time won't run out. That's wrong. The time is going to run out. And when we're going to be, it might already be out. I don't know. We might already be out of fucking time. Because that's the other thing about Satan's little season. If Satan's little season of 250 years was only the plan, that might be the chance that Satan needed. And if he could prove himself that he could do it the right way and he could do things correctly, then maybe his reign now will be for 1,000 years. Maybe that is the story that they're missing when they're looking at Satan's little timeline. This may not be a 250-year thing in the first place, even if it's their fake numbers, even if their zeros are involved in it, and that's the 250 years they were talking about. Was those 250 human years? Okay, well, even if it was, how do we know? And if we keep reading in Revelations, we are missing that 7th, 8th, 9th steps. I think it only takes you up to 7, and we're number 6 right now. We're in the 6th stage of Satan's little season. The 7th stage is now playing out. Right? We're done with 6 seasons. We're in the 7th season now, and now 7 is playing out, and that's supposed to be the end. But I doubt that, because the false creator/creator does use math, and the false creator/creator uses 1 through 9. There's no zeros in the false creator/creator's work anywhere. There's no zeros, no circles, no zeros, right? So that's how I know with confidence. I have a knowing. It's not that I was taught in school. I hadn't had a belief of it. I didn't hear it on a YouTube video. No, that's something that I can see with my own eyes, that you can all go see with your own eyes, and you'll have a knowing. This is what I mean about you'll be talked to, you'll be spoken to without human language. That's what an example of what it is I'm talking about. That's why I'm so confident about their zeros, right? Their zeros are a lie. And they should not be used. They shouldn't be taken as a joke. It shouldn't be taken as, oh, that's just ridiculous. If humans have a concept, they can certainly apply them to their life and use them. They're beneficial to the human life. No, it's not. Opposite of that. It's totally not. Just the fact that it's a lie in the first place and you're being lied to about it, that alone is good enough to not want to use it in your math. But it also fucks up a lot of other things too that you're just not thinking about. Dates and measurements and calculations and all kinds of things. It fucks everything up, that zero. It really does. And no one has an appreciation for that. So the churches totally fucked us the same way that I was saying earlier that Trump gaslights us. We get gaslit all the fucking time by this entire system, by everybody, by each other, even by each other. We lie to each other. We lie to ourselves. For lying to ourselves, how are we going to be honest with anybody else, with our children or anything, you know? You know, the douchebag coming out and gaslighting everybody on the food stamps. You know, I was talking a few minutes ago about the firemen and the fireman's family, and there's a lot of people that are out there like that. And the back to that story, you got 42 million, 20 million are children. So then you got another 10 million that are supposedly veterans. Now, these numbers might be tweakable. They might be off. I don't know, because it's not like I did a lot of research. But when I heard the numbers, they're just general numbers. So 20 million children, 10 million are veterans. And then you had 8 million, I believe, senior citizens and older people that were retired and can't work. And then after that, whatever was left of that, you do the math. Whatever was left of that were not all abusing the system. Some of them were just like you or me, who don't make enough money, single or with somebody else, if you're under the poverty level for income. So think of anybody that you know that maybe a handicapped people that are working at Walmart, you know, maybe people that are a little bit slow, on the slow side. They might have a job, part-time job even a lot of times. And when they're doing their thing, they're not making enough to survive. So they're offered these benefits. So even then, they also deserve to be helped by the rest of society, unless we're going to hold that mirror up to ourselves, which seems to be we're doing. We have no problem doing it. I love all this fake, I'm being sarcastic when I say I love it, but the fake ass AIs that are coming out and painting all the people who are scamming welfare system to be black and everything. And then you're watching the white folk come out, all the Trump voters and shit. Every fucking red state's doing it. And I don't want to get political about it because they're all liars, all sides. But it's just funny to watch, you know, millions of those zombie slaves on the red side of all that. They come out and bitching about this. It fires them up. They see a AI video, they don't even recognize it as AI, and they say, that black bitch, she fucking had 17 kids, it's 17 different daddy mamas and blah 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 blah, or whatever the fuck she's saying, right? It turns out it's all AI. And then you see another newscaster, it looks really real too. Some of them, if you don't have an eye for it, like for me, if it's something that really bothers me, I'll go watch it 4, 5, 6 times until I can figure out if it's AI. But if it's just some stupid random shit like that, that's just some person bitching about welfare getting cut and benefits getting cut, I don't really pay much attention, so I might believe it myself. But because other people are pointing it out, that AI is on a fucking rampage right now. They're stealing everybody's images and they're doing all kinds of shit, right? AI is supposedly. I told you guys, watch out for the cameras, man, because the cameras, they're stealing your soul. And sure enough, they stole your soul. Told everybody, stop fucking going in front of the camera all the time. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about what I'm showing you in my camera. That's what it's about. Same images, same faces, right here in front of you in the clouds, right? In the trees behind me, in the moon. I think we got a daytime moon today too. They're probably hiding it.